So, which are the biggest challenges regarding the acceptance and divulgation of the theology of the body?
I would say the biggest challenge is we have a very warped understanding of our bodies because of the pornographic culture in which we live. And we have these diseased images and ideas. We think of sexuality as something dirty, as something unholy. So when we talk about sexuality based on the frame in which people are understanding it in a pornographic culture, there has to be a real healing of the way we think and see and even talk about our bodies. So I think the biggest obstacle is right here. The biggest obstacle is impurity. And if we can say, as Jesus says, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see the mystery of God, the opposite is also true. The impure do not see. And so Jesus speaks of the crowd. He says, they look, but they do not see. And the real invitation of theology of the body is what Jesus says at the beginning of the Gospel of John, come and become one who sees. So the biggest challenge is our own blindness. And we need to have humility to admit that we are blind. Jesus says, if you would only admit that you don't see, I would give you sight. But because you claim that you see, you remain blind. So sin is the biggest obstacle. It is always the biggest obstacle to holiness. Theology of the body is really just a way of expressing the universal call to holiness. And holiness is a call to be a gift in the body. So sin, impurity, is the main obstacle.
So there's one more question. We know that you are consecrated to Jesus through Mary according to St. Louis of Montfort's spirituality.
Yes.
Which difference, if any, did and does this consecration into your life?
I can't even understand my life apart from the consecration to Mary. I learned about the de Montfort consecration through John Paul II. Totus tuus, his papal motto. And I remember first reading Louis de Montfort's True Devotion in the mid-1990s, and I didn't understand it. I did do the consecration then because I knew it was important, but I didn't understand it. It was only with my own growth, my own going through life, getting married, bumping into my own brokenness, seeking healing, seeking wholeness in my own personal life and interior journey, that I revisited de Montfort probably 2004, 2005, and then it came alive in a whole new way. And I think it's important that we remember what John Paul II himself said about de Montfort. He said he wrote at a time and used a language that is very different from our own time and our own language. And there are some obstacles that we can run into in his language. And I think I was running into those obstacles the first time I read it. But John Paul II said, with a certain level of maturity, when we see underneath what he's really trying to get at, there are unmistakable treasures. So every day when I wake up, I just repeat my totus tuus. I say, Mary, everything is yours. My whole life is yours. And the image I really like of de Montfort is that if we are to form an image of Christ, you can take a block of marble and you can start to hack at it. If you're a skilled artist, you can get a decent image, but one slip of the hammer and there's going to be a blemish in the image. He says if we want a perfect image of Christ, we have to find the perfect mold. And then you pour the molten bronze into the perfect mold and you have a perfect image of Christ. And he says Mary's womb is the perfect mold of Christ. So if we pour our lives into Mary's womb and we don't resist the forming, we will be formed into an image of Christ, a perfect image of Christ. So that's the spirituality of de Montfort in summary form, and it's become my own personal spirituality, and I can't imagine my life without it.
Okay.